As founder of the Black Lake chapter of Sturgeon for Tomorrow, Brenda Archambault has been an extraordinary catalyst for the protection of one of Michigan's rarest of resources, its lake sturgeon. After learning of the generations of sturgeon poaching which depleted the species population in Black Lake in the 1990s, Brenda pulled together legions of volunteers from very diverse backgrounds to participate in guarding the sturgeon spawning areas each spring. She worked together, the volunteers worked together with DNR Law Enforcement Division, and as a result, hundreds of volunteer sturgeon guards from throughout the Midwest provide 24-hour oversight of the sturgeon each year when the fish are their most visible and most vulnerable. Affectionately referred to and respectfully referred to as the Sturgeon General. That's always good for the lab. Brenda has also engaged the support of CMU, MSU, and the DNR over the years in sturgeon research, resulting in the sturgeon hatchery on Black Lake. She's always thinking of ways to promote public awareness of Michigan's living fossil, the lake sturgeon, and has initiated annual tours of the hatchery, river walks along sturgeon spawning areas, and various other enterprises in addition to the Sturgeon Guard program. She also maintains an active website and actively participates in the annual fundraiser for Sturgeon for Tomorrow each year. In 2009, Brenda and Sturgeon for Tomorrow worked together with the Huron Pines crew and other volunteers on the major work effort that was the first thing Alicia discussed when we began by planting thousands of plants on a major erosion site on the lower Black River. Thousands of plants and shrubs were planted, and thanks to the efforts of those volunteers and Mother Nature, that hillside is now awash in greenery, covered with a lot of snow. She has also distinguished herself in other environmental arenas. She's an outreach consultant for the National Wildlife Federation, and as such has been a force of nature in advancing public awareness and understanding of the climate change issue. She has repeatedly succeeded in pulling together diverse groups, again, of individuals and speakers to explore the impact of climate change on Michigan's natural resources and economy from the hunters and anglers' perspective. She's also made numerous lobbying trips to Washington and Lansing and elsewhere in search of support from our legislators of passing climate change legislation. Although I've only known Brenda Archambault for 3 years or so, I have known of Brenda Archambault for many years because of her involvement in advancing the cause of lake sturgeon. She is engaging, tenacious in her belief of the importance of the presence of lake sturgeon in the natural order of things, and a most unique and dedicated conservationist. I think O.B. Eustis would be most proud to see Brenda's capacity to pull people together from so many backgrounds to participate in conservation projects and issues. She is truly an extraordinary individual whose presence in this world has made an immeasurable impact on the quality of life for the people of northeastern Michigan and the lake sturgeon who silently swim in its precious waters. Brenda Archambault.
I do have a couple things to say. This is beautiful. Thank you very much. Oops, I'm right over here. Carol, is this you? Nope, no, I was there. Okay. I normally don't dress like this, otherwise I'd be in a two-piece suit. But today is the opening of sturgeon season on Black Lake, and I just came from my shanty. And there was one sturgeon, 70 pounder at the south end of the lake so far as when I left at 6:30 or 9:30. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for this. It's very distinguishing. I'm honored. I'm deeply honored to accept the award. I appreciate the leadership of O.B. Eustis, Huron Pines, and the Community Foundation of Northeast Michigan for establishing these awards. I'm also grateful for my nominator, Carol Rose, as well as those who have supported my nomination. It is truly a privilege to join together with the other distinguished award recipients. When I look at the list of winners of this award, I'm further humbled by the comparison. I would like to express my sincere gratitude for those of you here today who have fundamentally contributed to my success and the success of Sturgeon for Tomorrow, and there are many. I would like to acknowledge Kathy Bazat over here in the gray shirt. Kathy is our board secretary. She's a definite pillar of strength and acute vision for our organization. I'd like to thank the Sturgeon for Tomorrow Board of Directors for their Salt of the Year leadership, tenacity, and conservation values. Our members, volunteers, and supporters for being steadfast in their service and advocacy on our journey to save the sturgeon. And I'd like to especially thank my husband, Gil, who puts up with me being gone out in the wilderness all the time, although half the time he's with me. I've had many mentors over the years. And when I say mentors and I'm talking about coaching, this is very instrumental in what we're doing. This award also belongs to them. I've never really viewed myself individually. I've always been part of a team, a network, a collaborator, working among and between organizations, institutions, academia, tribes, and volunteers to establish and attain goals together. What this award means to me is that there is an understanding of the importance of our work, and it is a source of great encouragement that will inspire me when the going gets tough. Through outreach, we will continue to educate, engage, and mobilize diverse constituencies to treasure our natural world, not to take it for granted, and work together to keep our Great Lakes great. I admire those of you here today who continue to stand on the front lines to conserve and protect our natural resources, the living, breathing beings in our watersheds that cannot speak for themselves. They depend on us to do what is right, to be their voice. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and I really believe this to be true. And at the end of the day, it's all about relationships with each other, and our relationship with nature. In my view, environmentalism are values that spring from an early and profound childhood experience in nature. Sense of place deepens. The common thread of my childhood is that I spent a lot of time outdoors because that's where the things that interest me live. It's where I developed many of my core values. Understanding the threats to places I love and where I gained self-assurance made me an environmentalist and convinced me that connecting children with nature is one of the major tasks to winning this great war and standing up to the crimes against nature. We must learn how best to live sustainably and in harmony with nature and to pass this rich heritage on to future generations. I'm dedicating this award to my late father, and brother, Doc and James McCall. I am blessed that they took me into the wilderness and upon our great waters and let me roam free to discover Earth's natural treasures, beauty, and the peace that you can find in the wilderness. I'll never lose my wanderlust of life that they taught me, including my mother. I want to thank you all, and may God bless you all. Thank you.